This Fit Drivers podcast has been sponsored by PrePass. Only PrePass provides way station, bypass, and integrated electronic toll payment services, saving you time, fuel, and money while improving safety and efficiency in trucking. Visit prepass.com for details. Welcome, everyone, to Fit Drivers podcast number 4. Today, we're talking mental health. I'm very pleased to have Jamie Pabst on. Jamie Pabst is the founder and CEO of Spiritune, an evidence-based therapeutic music app that supports emotional health. Jamie is devoted in expanding the use of music to treat a broad range of mental health conditions and help everyone benefit from the therapeutic power of music. And joining Jamie today is Dr. Bowling. Dr. Bowling is a neuroscientist working at Stanford School of Medicine, Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Science. He is also Spiritune's leading neuroscience advisor. I'm going to bring Jamie on right away and have her explain about her unique development of how to handle mental health with her program. So Jamie, welcome, my friend. Glad to finally get you on.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So if you could give us an overview of your model or your concept on how your mental health vision that you bring to the industry that you feel like has a unique perspective, especially in helping professional truck drivers out there on the road.
Yeah, sure. So Spiritune is the name of the company. It is a therapeutic music application. And we founded Spiritune around the idea that music has all of these therapeutic properties. And, if we could better harness the clinical underpinnings of music therapy and neuroscience, then we could create a really powerful and reliable tool to help people modulate their mood, their stress, a variety of different mental health issues, all through the really accessible, enjoyable power of music.
Great. So at that time, maybe I should bring on Dr. Bowling and he can talk about the science behind the program and how this came together. So welcome, Dr. Bowling. Thanks for being on.
Hi, Bob. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having us. Many people all around the world know that music is a very powerful stimulus. It can modulate the way that you feel. It can deliver certain types of rewards to you. It can make you feel good. It can provide you with a feeling of companionship when you're feeling lonely. So music can do a lot of things, and this has all been appreciated for a long time among artists and musicians and listeners. But within the last 50 to really heating up over the last 25 years, scientists have become very interested in these properties of music and their reality in the brain and how we can use them to affect mental health and all kinds of situations to bring people to a better place emotionally when they're feeling low.
So how do you match that together, right? Say, for example, like I said, the drivers, particularly maybe the day before Christmas or Christmas Day, they're out on the road, they've got all these different emotions running through them, wish I was home, can't be home, and so forth. So how do you match up what kind of music that they're going to be listening to get through those emotions, opposed to what music they're going to listen to when they're not driving? You're trying to settle them down at the end of the day so they can go to sleep at night and rest. So how do you mirror that? I'm very interested to understand how that connection is made, opposed to talking to somebody and then talking you through it.
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. Spiritune has a really interesting approach to this problem. And maybe, Jamie, I'll let you kind of preface that. I can tell you a little bit more about the science of how we do it, but there's kind of a cool step that Spiritune takes first. So
sure, I'll hop in first, Dan. So this is the side of music therapy in terms of how we match the musical state to the initial mood that somebody is initially feeling. So in music therapy, this is called the ISO principle. And so we call it ISO music. The ISO principle says that to reliably transition somebody's mood, you must first meet them where they are and then shift them towards where they want to go. So with ISO music, which is a core component of what Spiritune does, we create ISO music to match somebody's mood, match their physiological state, so that the music helps them feel embraced, helps them feel understood and more emotionally aware when their mood is first matched, similar to a friend that says, I know how you're feeling, right? So in this way, the music can help the listener feel more embraced. And then the music shifts to the state they're looking to go towards, to move towards. So that is the whole kind of process around ISO music, or the ISO principle, which is leveraged in the world of music therapy to transition a patient's mood, to first meet them where they are and then transition them to where they want to go. And this is very different than music in the wild, right? Usually you say, where's my energy music, right? Or where's my chill music? But the reality is you need to really meet somebody where they are before you get to kind of the state you want to go to. So that's one way that Spiritune leverages clinical aspects of music therapy and reflects that in the music that we create to help people more therapeutically, which Dan, I'll hand it off to you to talk about maybe some science, unless Bob, you have an additional comment you want to make there.
Yeah, I'm interested to understand how the methodology of how I'm driving down the road in truck and I really miss my family. I know I'm going to go home for another 2 weeks. So is there a selection of, that I'm going to particular space that I'm music or that I'm going to listen to that's going to, coordinate with what my feelings are, like you talked about? I thought that was very well put, Jamie, about matching me where I'm at and where I want to be, right? But how do you doing that? It's not like you got an electrical device on them of some sort that's measuring their wavelengths and how they're feeling, like an EKG or whatever. So, doctor, how do you make that happen?
Yeah, so it's very simple. We just ask people how they feel. In psychiatry or in mental health, and in trying to understand, somebody's psychological well-being, how you feel is really the most important thing. And so we simply have a way to say, hey, how are you feeling right now? And we kind of map out the space of emotion, but we really make it very simple. Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling lethargic? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling relaxed? And then within the negative categories in particular, you could be depressed, tired. We just ask people how they're feeling, and we use that information to then select the music, which we've created to mirror those different states. So yeah,
and that step is really important. So the therapeutic music that people receive after they go through these emotional checkpoints is very important, but also the process of tuning in to yourself to say, how am I actually feeling right now? That's not something we all are accustomed to doing all the time, right? So to take that first step to say, you know what, I am feeling frustrated right now, or I am feeling a little depressed right now. That's actually very powerful in starting that therapeutic process. Sometimes the term is called, name it to tame it, right? So by naming your emotion, you're actually taking, pretty impressive steps towards taming it. But what that also does from a musical standpoint, from Spiritune side, it allows us to match the music to where you are as well. But that whole check-in process is equally as important as the music itself, I would say.
So I'm assuming this is all controlled through an app of some sort, right? I'm driving down the road and obviously I can't look at my phone. I can't, but I'm going through these emotions and, in driving, time is of the essence. And so, drivers just can't pull over whenever they want. Is there a way that this is done through voice activation of some sort that they're able to, hey, I'm feeling really down, Dr. Bowling, can you pick me up? So how do I do that?
So that's a really good point. I mean, right now it's done through clicking a button on the phone, on the touchscreen, comes up. It's a very simple interface. You can really just pick one of 4 items. But yeah, if you're trying to avoid looking at your phone, that's something I haven't thought of before. I mean, Jamie, I don't know. Voice activation would certainly be a cool way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a good point, Bob. And we have discussed, a few kind of API integrations, let's say with Siri or Alexa, some of the voice activation technologies out there. But, typically what I would advise is, let's say, you're starting your day or wherever you are on your kind of driving shift, right? And I do this in my own driving. Before I start the engine, I'll say, I'm feeling this way. I want to feel this way. And this is what I'm doing. So in the case of driving, I would probably select workflow because that's supposed to support executive function. So then once you're all set with your 3 prompts, then the music will start to play, and then you can, go about your day, whether you're working, driving, et cetera. But you do bring up a good point that perhaps in the not so distant roadmap for Spiritune, no pun intended, that some voice prompts would be warranted.
So it's been my experience in the world of employee programs, right? Assistant programs. That a lot of times people have them, the companies have them, but they're usually the back page of the handbook, not really talked about. And of course, ever since the pandemic, it's like all you read about now is mental health support and so forth. So is that something that you're familiar with as well, that you see? And do you see this as a way of changing that world and getting to be more acceptable out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of the positive attributes of the pandemic and the fact that there's been a light sort of shined on mental health. It's gotten that bad, unfortunately. But yeah, historically, EAPs, employee assistance programs, have been sort of a check the box feature for employers to say, okay, I'm offering something, but it's really not enough. So employers can come in and play a huge role in impacting mental well-being of the nation, their employees. So I do think there's a lot of pressure on employers to do more. And that's one thing that Spiritune is really dedicated to, is working not only directly with employers, but with EAP programs as well. And one of the big benefits is that Spiritune's therapeutic application can be offered at a very attractive price point. I mean, mental health care is costly and it's not accessible for a lot of employers. So Spiritune is absolutely dedicated to the access component and affordability component so that we can make therapeutic music accessible for employers of all kinds and, who are perhaps more sensitive on the pricing scale.
So, Doctor, have you had some direct experience through Spiritune working with professional drivers, trucker, bus drivers at all? Did they learn what you feel is the biggest heartburn for them to go through?
Yeah, I mean, not specifically, but I can imagine. I mean, the mental problems that humans encounter, that we all feel, they're very regular across jobs, across professions, across cultures. Things like anxiety, right? So like a classic use case for Spiritune would be, say that you're on the road and you get a call from home and hang up the phone and your mind is racing. You feel like you wish you could get home. You're so far away. This is really a situation where if you can report that, say, oh, you check in on yourself. This is how I'm feeling. Spiritune's going to supply you with music that really is acoustically structured to acknowledge that anxiety. It's going to be, the music's going to meet you where you're at, and then it's going to gradually transition to a state that's going to try to calm your nervous system down, calm you down, allow you to focus. You can't do anything about the inciting incident on the phone right now, right? You have to be able to calm yourself down and just proceed. And, this is seen this act on all different types of people. Music therapy in this particular way of meeting somebody where they're at and transitioning them is very effective.
Well, so it sounds like really the effectiveness of this tool would be is like waking up in the morning, still out there on the road. They've got to drive. They know they got to be on the road for the next X number of hours, got to do a checkup from the neck up, right, as they say. And so they could then select before they pull on the highway something that will fit that category that will help them without, of course, relaxing them too much, but that way that they'll be alert and try things.
Absolutely. I mean, that the music is designed for that. So Jamie mentioned the workflow category. There's a sleep category too, but that's not what you would be doing, obviously. And the other thing that's important to mention is that once you've done this check-in and entered your state and entered where you want to be, the music is going to just continue to play. You don't have to check in again. It's going to just, it's going to start you out. It's going to start you out with this sort of musical acknowledgement. And from there, it's going to move on and carry you into whatever energy state that you've said you'd want to be in. So, something like what we call chill or energize, both of those would be suitable for driving. And they're both designed to, like Jamie said, support executive function. So to support attention, to support coordination. Maybe if you're on I-80 in the middle of the country, maybe you're going to put on chill, but maybe if you're pulling into a metropolitan area, maybe you want to be more energized. Maybe you want to be more alert. So the music can do that too.
Good. Nighttime, when it comes time to go to relax, a lot of people don't realize that, drivers, they say they think they have all this time. They really don't, because, they stop, they got, take a shower, do the laundry, they got to eat, they got to call home, take care of any business they have, and then it comes time to lay down and they got cattle trucks pulling in the truck lot and air horns going off in the middle of the night. And so it's important for them to have some type of relaxing music to be able to put them to sleep and, get the best restful sleep, the quality. And because I know everybody wants to recommend sleep 8 hours, but in the real life of drivers, sometimes that's very difficult. So, well, very good. So any other closing comments you'd like to add in? I really like this. I'm looking, at the opportunity, Jamie, of us working together on some pilot programs to test this out in the real world and see how it is. But do you have any closing comments you'd like to add?
Yeah, I will kind of add in based on the last thing that Dan said about the personalization of the music. I think one thing that we aim to do in terms of providing therapeutic music is, how the discovery process of finding the right music works is, you say how you feel, you say how you want to feel, and then you select the category you're in. So whether or not you're waking up to try to kind of get out of brain fog to really, start your day, whether you're trying to focus while you're on the road, whether you're trying to wind down and get to sleep more quickly. Those are all personalized prompts we have within the app. So the music will adjust based on the things that you're looking for the music to do. So you're not haphazardly trying to guess what artist should I play, what genre should I play. We take all of that guesswork out of it for you, which is commonly where people, I think, fall short. If they're left to their own devices, like, I'll just go, play my own, favorite artist, which, not to say that that's a bad thing, but in terms of, music that you need to really support your health, we take a lot of that guesswork out of it for you. And then on the other piece you had touched on, Bob, about, specifically for the truck driving industry, when we set out to think about who Spiritune is for, we thought about time-pressed individuals. Where is Spiritune's biggest value proposition? It's really, for people that don't have a lot of time to do the normal things you might do otherwise, whether it's go work out or see a therapist or, do a meditation. All of those are things that, we would like to say we do on a normal basis, but they require time and attention. And so music is something that can be done passively. And so when we think about audiences or a user base that we really can support, it's people that have busy lives, that are stressed, high performance. And, I definitely think that the truck driving population fits that description.
Yeah. The difference between us and the drivers is accessibility. And
Yes.
we don't have it, we do. So that's why I think this could be a valid option for folks to have. Doctor, anything from you before we sign off?
Yeah, I'll just also just make a couple more points, just reinforcing what Jamie said. If you think about the difficulty of choosing music for yourself when you're in a particular mood, you have to know how you're feeling. You have to say, oh, I want to listen to this artist. You got to go into your phone. You got to find the artist. You got to find the app that you're using. I mean, this is really just replacing that with how am I feeling and one touch. It really is a massive simplification there. And then just because you mentioned, Bob, sleep. So sleep is one of the most used categories on Spiritune. There's kind of a couple of different parts to that. One is to help you fall asleep, right? So this is to play music that's going to gradually bring down your energy level and let you stop your mind racing and kind of get into a more chill place. But in addition to that, there's also helping you stay asleep. So you mentioned like a noisy environment, being in a truck stop with cars coming in and air horns going off. And we use a type of noise that helps mask environmental sound to create a kind of protected sound cocoon or bubble that you can be in. And just when you mentioned the challenge of sleeping at a truck stop, it occurred to me that these kind of two sides to Spiritune's sleep application, where it's helping you fall asleep and then helping you stay asleep, might be really valuable there.
Absolutely. Well, Jamie and Dr. Bowen, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing this to us, and looking forward to having more discussions. And like I said, Jamie, I'm looking forward to working on some pilots. And maybe after we do that, the doctor can have a chance to analyze that. Maybe we can have you back on and talk about the positive cause and effect that we found from using that in the pilot program. So it's great. So thank you so much, and look forward to you and talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having us. Happy holidays, everyone.
Good thing. Thank you so much for having us. Really cool what you do. Happy holidays.
Only PrePass provides way station, bypass, and integrated electronic toll payment services. Visit prepass.com for details.